Hello, tax volunteers. This is Roy Kamita, an accounting lecturer in the University of Hawaii system. And this is a video about getting certified for the IRS Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, or tax counseling for the elderly. So this website is called linklearncertification.com. I'll put the URL link at the bottom of this video, but you can just try typing in that linklearncertification.com to get to this website. And here off to the left side are resources for you to prepare for the certification tests. And here's the online certification test site off to the left side. Now, you can get some lectures online or really slideshows by using this link and learn tax lessons. But it's not easy to go back here to find answers to the certification tests. But let me try just demonstrating for you some of these lessons here. So if you click on this link, you can choose the certification path. I would recommend if you want to prepare returns, you probably want to do this advanced certification, if not the basic one. You always can do basic and then upgrade to advanced later on, yeah? But let's take a look at this advanced certification, advanced, and then you're going to be a student in this advanced slideshow. Here you can click on Start, and it'll take you to this site here where you can click on the links to show this different resources, these tools. The one you probably want is this skills workout. And here you can see a slideshow just by clicking on the link here. Look like it's already updated for 2022. And it may ask you for responses for certain questions. Okay, so that's the slideshow. Again, using this Link and Learn tax lessons. But when you answer questions in the exam, you probably want to use references in this training guide, from this training guide, or these other links down here. Now, all volunteers have to pass this test here called Volunteer Standards of Conduct. Even if you're not preparing returns, yeah, if you're a VITA volunteer, you gotta pass this training. So here I've already downloaded this link called Volunteer Standards of Conduct Ethics Training. So you can see some training materials at the beginning of this handout, but the main thing is the exam questions. So here on page 30 is a set of 10 questions. You need to pass with a score of 80%, yeah, 8 questions. So here's the first question. And as you answer this first question, at the same time, you should probably be working on question number 1 in the retest. Okay, don't wait to take it a second time to do the retest, but do it right away when you do the test questions. So this question number 1 in the retest and question number 1 in the test are very similar. It tests you on the same topic, yes, so it can kind of help you get the correct answer if you try to do both at the same time. So when you feel confident about your answers here for this Volunteer Standards of Conduct test, then you can go into the online test and take the same tests, the same questions. You do need to register for an account if you don't already have one. For those of you who are returning from the previous tax season, you may want to try using your old username and password, or here if you forgot your username or password. In either case, you can always apply for a new account. Okay, so that's for all volunteers. Here again is the training materials and the questions. Then if you're going to be preparing returns or answering tax questions, then you need to take this test called Intake Interview Quality Review Training. So this is another exam with 10 more questions and a retest of 10 questions. Again, you got to pass with an 80% score. Okay, and then if you want to prepare returns, you need to get the basic or the advanced certification. That's supposed to be linked over here, but the last time I checked, and it's mid-December right now, 2022, it hasn't been updated. So if you Google for IRS VITA 2022 tests, you probably will see this publication or form called 6744. And again, I'll put the link below the video here so you can directly download this form. So it has basically all the different exams you can take for the VITA program. And again, we're interested in this formal publication to do the advanced or the basic certification. So let me show you the PDF file I've already downloaded here. And when you take the basic or advanced certification, you're going to have to answer 30 to 35 questions, true, false, multiple choice, fill in the blank. And again, you got to pass with a score of 80%. So you do it on this file here, this PDF file or paper file if you want to print it out. And when you feel comfortable, you can go online and take the same questions. Yeah, so you already got your answers when you go online. So let me show you the advanced tests. Yeah, so let's see. I'll open up the bookmarks, and here, let's go to this basic tests. And the questions are grouped into bunches called scenarios. So here's scenario number 1. So you would read. Let's zoom in here. You would read the facts here and then answer the question. Here, there's just 2 questions in this first scenario. Again, there's going to be a total of 30 to 35 questions each for the basic and advanced certification. Again, for those of you who are returning from volunteering in a previous season or are ambitious to get to that higher level right away, you can just jump to the advanced certification and bypass this basic certification. And again, there's a set of test questions and a retest. You would only see the retest questions if you did not pass the test the first time. But as you do it on paper, you should be answering the questions, both the test and retest at the same time. So let's see if I can bring up the matching retest question number 1. Okay, so this is test question number 1. Let me split my my screen here. So I'll bring up the retest down here. So scrolling through the bookmarks, here's the retest, and here's the scenario number 1. And I'll zoom in here. So make sure you're on 1. This is the test question, and this is the retest question number 1. You notice the facts are the same here with Tom and Tom. What is different slightly is the question. In the case of test question number 1, it's a multiple choice testing you on the filing status. And here in retest question 1, it's a true and false question, again testing you on that same topic, filing status. So then you do number 2. Here it's true false in the test and multiple choice in the retest. Again, when you take the test online the first time, you're going to see this set of questions, the test questions. And if you don't pass it with 80% or higher, the second time, your last attempt, you're going to see these retest questions. Okay, so do both at the same time and it will help you answer correctly the questions. Okay, so that's basic. And again, you can already jump to the advanced scenarios. Yeah, here's the retest for the advanced. Now, in both the advanced and basic questions, you're going to have to prepare tax returns for the last 3 scenario groups of questions. So let's take a look, let's say, at the advanced one here. Advanced, it goes up to scenario number 9. So this last 3, 7, 8, 9, First, we'll require you to prepare a tax return before you answer the questions. So let me take a look at this number 7 scenario. Let's go full screen here. So it gives you a whole bunch of facts. These are interview notes when you talk with the client, talk with the taxpayer. And here's documents they give you, like their social security cards. Here's an intake sheet that the taxpayers have to fill out before we prepare the return. 4 pages long, 3 or 4 pages long. Then the tax documents they give you, like a W-2. Okay, so this tries to make it more realistic than just giving you numbers in a paragraph form. And then you're supposed to prepare the tax return. In fact, that's the instructions at the beginning of this scenario. Here, use the tax software to complete the return, and only then answer the questions at the end of this scenario. So here, at the end of this scenario, there's like about a half dozen questions for this scenario. So you would do question 15 in the test and question 15 in the retest at the same time. Yeah, again, one is probably multiple choice, another matching one will be true, false, or fill in the blank. Okay, so now when you do tax returns, you're going to be using a software back here at the Lincoln Learn site called Practice Lab, which is very similar to the software that you use as a volunteer called Tax Slayer. But here, when you get your certification test tax returns, the software is called Practice Lab. And I'll have a separate video demonstrating how to use Practice Lab. Again, you're going to generate a tax return, probably a PDF file, and only then you're answering the questions here. The questions here in the scenarios requiring you to prepare the return. Now, the resources you're probably going to use to answer tax questions, again, you can always try to go back into the slideshow here, but it's difficult to find answers. Your main source of answers is going to be this training guide. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Here, this training guide. Again, you can download it as a PDF file. And you can see it's like almost 300 to 400 pages long. I find that a easier source of information to work with is another IRS publication called 4012. And it's not linked at the Lincoln Learn site. This training guide is, the training guide is linked right over here. You don't see a VITA resource guide linked here, but if you Google, and I have it linked at the bottom again of this video, you want a VITA resource guide. And almost all the answers you're looking for are probably in this smaller publication. Even though it's 300 to 400 pages, it's probably easier to find. For example, if you go to the table of contents here at the beginning, you look for the topic you want, and then if you click on the link, it'll take you to that form, either giving you a screen of how it should be entered in the software or giving you information of how things are taxable or deductible. Okay, so that's publication 4012. That's probably the best resource. And if you want to get a hard copy of this document, you can go to the site coordinator where you're going to be volunteering and request a printed or a hard copy of this publication. For my students, if you have problems after you enter or don't pass the first time in the certification test, contact me and we'll review the topics you need to go over. Let me demonstrate how the test site looks like. So again, you already have your account, and when you log in, you'll see different tabs at the top here for different certification levels. So in all cases, all volunteers have to pass this volunteer standards of conduct. Again, you're going to have 2 attempts, and you have to pass with at least 80%. And then the next test you take is this intake interview. Again, another 10 questions, 2 attempts passing with 80%. I took the advanced certification test already. You can see I first took these two, and then I jumped to now the advanced certification. Notice I didn't get 100%, but I can't take it again because I passed it already with at least 80%, yeah? But if I didn't, I would have one more attempt to try that retest now questions. Okay, so when you, well, let me go into, I can't go back into these exams here, but let me try the basic exam. Here, this basic exam, which you can see I haven't submitted any attempts yet, yeah? So already done it on the PDF file. I have it open, I'm looking at my answers. Now I go into the basic exam and I should see the same questions. Let me click on launch. And then I can start the assessment and go to the first question, really the first scenario that has 2 questions. So this should match the questions I saw on the PDF file. So all I have to do, I'm just guessing here, pick my answer and move to the next question. Yeah, pick my answer and move to the next question. Can Tom claim a higher than lie? Yeah. I'm just guessing here, yeah? And then moves to the next scenario. Or you can jump all the way to the end and see which ones are incomplete here with this review. Here, all in red, I haven't answered them yet, yeah? I think I answered the first 2. These first 2 with my answers, yeah? Now, don't submit your work until you finish answering all the questions. Let me exit out of this exam, and here it'll tell you that I'm in progress. I haven't used any one of my 2 attempts yet, yeah? Okay, now when you're ready to volunteer, when you're certified, you you can print out these certificates for yourself, but the site where you're volunteering, the site coordinator, they want to see your volunteer agreement. So before you download that agreement, go ahead and check off this box to electronically sign it. Again, you can always come back here and take more tests, yeah? And then update your volunteer agreement, and then download it right here, yeah? You can open up that volunteer agreement. You can print it out or email it to your site coordinator. This is what will give you the certification to prepare returns to volunteer at a tax site, and not necessarily the certificates here. Okay, so if you're my student, you can always email if you have questions. Again, I'll prepare another video demonstrating how to use the Practice Lab software.